6:35, so we'll call this meeting for the City of New Fairview City Council for Monday, July the 20th, 2026. We're going to go straight to the regular session, so we have a roll call.
Ricky Jones.
Stephen King.
John Hutter.
Alicia Shepard.
You have four.
So if y'all join me in an invocation and then remain standing for our pledge to our flags. Dear Heavenly Father, we're so thankful to come today as a quorum to represent this city that we live in, and that we'll be able to continue to make great progress and lead this city to new and better things every time we meet. And we ask that in the name of thy Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Honor the
Honor the
Texas
Texas
flag.
flag.
I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Announcements and special recognition.
No announcements of recognition there.
City Administrator's report.
Just one thing I want the council to know, I sent you all an email earlier today. The TML annual conference is coming up in November. It's going to be in San Antonio. They just announced they're opening up August 4th. I believe it was August 4th.
That's correct.
Is the date that we register in the morning. I will tell you, this goes fast. They open it up at 10 o'clock, and I guarantee you by 11 a.m., all the hotel rooms will be booked at the hotel rate. So if you're wanting to go to the TML, I've sent you links to their website. I sent you links to the hotels as well. Then just get with Susan so we can put you on the list, and we'll get you registered and get you in the hotels, hopefully that will be all located in. And then we can go from there. So just let her know so that we'll be ready to go. Otherwise, we'll be able to get you registered for TML, but we won't be able to get you a hotel room anywhere close. So you'll be somewhere in the periphery.
Go ahead
to the
and
conference. Okay.
I already told my job I was there.
Okay, so you're a yes.
I also want to remind the council that this Saturday is our back to school event out at the park. Starts at 5 o'clock, over at 7:30. We'd love to have you come out and help us pass out bags of school supplies to the kiddos. We'll have an ice cream truck and water slides and music and all kinds of other activities going on. If you can help us, we'd love your help. If not, just bring your family out and enjoy and help us get the word out.
What time does it start?
5 o'clock? Okay, that's all. Thank you, Mayor.
Public comment.
13.
We have none, sir.
Consent agenda. All matters consent agenda are considered to be routine by the City Council and will be enacted by one motion. An item can be removed from the consent agenda by the City Administrator, Mayor, or any member of the City Council and will be considered after approval of the consent agenda. The two items, approval of the City Council meeting minutes for July 6, 2026, and approval of the third quarter fiscal year 2025-26 investment report.
I have a question on the investment report. On the West Fork Public Utility Agency for other non-city funds, are we no longer maintaining that fund? It looks like that money, all money's been withdrawn.
Right, so the West Fork PUA board went ahead and they secured a bank. I forget which bank it was. Do you remember, Mayor?
I do not. It's
Okay.
one I hadn't heard of.
Some bank, yeah. And so they requested that the funds be moved out of our account and given to them to put in their bank, and they did. So that's why, but we still have to carry it on the books for the auditor to be able to audit that when they audit our fiscal year 26-27 operations budget. Or in this case, special revenue fund.
I move to approve the consent agenda.
Motion, do I have a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, thank you. New business, all matters listed in new business will be discussed and considered separately. Receive and consider an act on the annual audit fiscal year 2023-2024.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm going to introduce Valerie Halverson, who is the auditor for our city and has been for quite a few years. I do want to let the council know how much I appreciate not only Valerie's work, but specifically Susan Greenwood and Tam Beatty. I mean, they have been working on this thing for probably a year, I kid you not, in trying to fix all the things that we didn't do correctly when we transferred from one finance software company to another and didn't set things up right. So there's just been a lot of discussion. I can't even imagine the number of hours that they put into it, but I do hear some of the conversations from time to time. And we finally got everything ready. The good news is now that we have come over the hump for this fiscal year, my understanding is the next fiscal year, which will be 24-25, is already teed up, and Tan and Susan are already off and running, and that one should be hopefully a lot easier, so we'll have everything ready for the auditor to do their job, and then hopefully we'll have that audit here sometime by the end of the summer. So then now all we will have to do is when we close out a fiscal year at the end of September, we will get with the auditor. Typically they do this work over the holidays, November, December timeframe, and tee it up so that going forward, January, February is when they are usually presenting audits to city councils. And then of course, now that we've got this new state law, we got to get it done quickly, or else now we're going to be hamstrung on our ability to approve different tax rates other than the no new revenue rate. So having said that, I'm going to turn it over to our auditor, Valerie, who is connected to us virtually. Hello, Valerie, how are you?
Yeah. Hello, very good, very good. Thanks for having me. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Well, John really stole my intro speech.
I'm sorry.
But yes, I'm here to present the 2024 audit and kind of hit the highlights with you. But really the biggest highlight is that we are one step closer to being caught up on audits. As John said, we're already ready to move forward and get into that 2025 audit and getting that one done before that 2026 year-end closes, so that we'll be set up to be back on track and kind of in compliance with that state law by the end of March of this year and getting that 2026 audit out. So that's really the big news, is that this 2024 audit is completed. It was definitely quite an undertaking between the accounting software transition, which is just a difficult thing to do. And there was also personnel transition during that time. And so I think Susan's probably felt like she's been playing catch up her entire tenure with New Fairview. And that's kind of the beauty of the 2025 audit, is that she's really been there during that time, which is going to be really helpful. So my plan for you this evening was not to spend a whole lot of time with the numbers, just to kind of walk through the structure of the statements and hit the highlights briefly. But I am more than happy to answer anything in more detail, or to, go into any, answer any questions. Please feel free to stop me as I go through. But I always like to say I try to walk the fine line between giving you the information that you need and putting everybody to sleep. So feel free to stop me. Be happy to answer any more questions. I'm just going to look at this annual financial report, which is about 57-page report. That's our big, issuance after the audit, and point you first to numbered page 1, which is our independent auditor's report. That says we have to provide an opinion on the financial statement. So that's what it says in this letter, and it says that we believe the financial statements are fairly presented. I like to say that's as nice as we get as auditors. That's the opinion that you want to see in your audit report. Past that section, starting on page 5, is the management's discussion and analysis. This section is just intended to provide a little bit more of a conversational discussion of the results of the year and how these financial statements are supposed to work together, and kind of the information they provide. So that's kind of the detail for those next few pages. And then past that, we get into the basic financial statements, which starts on page 13. So page 13, the top of that, it's called Exhibit A1, and it's the statement of net position. So this is the city's assets, liabilities, and then the difference between the two is your net position for the city as a whole. So this includes all your capital assets and long-term debt. At the end of the year, the city had about 12.4 million in assets and about 6.3 million in liabilities, which means that your total net position was 6 million. And of that, about 1.2 million was unrestricted. So compared to the city's annual expenses, that unrestricted net position is pretty healthy at the end of 2024, which is good to see. The next page, page 14, is your statement of activities. And this is where you're going to see your expenses and then revenues for the year for your ultimate change in net position, which is kind of the third number from the bottom. There was an increase of about 600,000 from the activities of 2024. So building on that unrestricted net position, which is good to see too. The next page goes into the city's fund financial statements. It's your governmental funds, your balance sheet. This is on a different basis of accounting. It's intended to be just current assets and current liabilities, so kind of what's readily available. And really our main focus here is on your general fund, because your general fund houses most of your operations. And so we like to look and see how the general fund is doing. At the end of 24, there was about 1 million in assets. And again, this doesn't include capital assets, which is why it's so different than the other number. About 27,000 in liabilities, and then deferred inflows of 382,000. That leaves you with the fund balance of 600,000 at the end of 24. And the goal for that unassigned fund balance, which is really the number that we're looking at in this statement, is for it to be between 3 and 6 months of expenditures each year. And that's right at about 4.5 months. So it's a healthy unassigned fund balance at the end of 24. And then the other columns on this page are just details for those additional funds. So kind of the activity in those funds that are broken out from just the normal operations that are in the general fund. Next page, page 16, is the reconciliation. So you can see how we go from that fund balance statement to that net position, statement of net position, which is primarily adding back assets and putting in those long-term liabilities. Page 17 is your statement of revenues, expenditures, and changes for the funds. And this again is more like a current basis or a budget basis. So more like a cash flow. And again, our main focus here is what's happening in our general fund, which had an increase of 120,000 during the year. So a positive result from the general fund. And then the final statement in here is that reconciliation between those two kind of income statements. So it kind of shows you what the differences are. Past those basic statements, we get into the notes to the financial statements, which provide the city's accounting policies. There weren't any new or big changes to your accounting policies, no new or big changes to your disclosures. So that's just providing additional information for the city's balances, some additional schedules, and a lot of information that's in there. One thing that I do like to point out, because you really only see this once a year with the audit, I'm going to point you all the way to page 33, which is looking at the city's net pension liability calculation. So the city participates with TMRS, the city's pension plan. And as part of that, we have to record what we call the net pension liability. And so each year TMRS has actuaries that calculate that liability. And then ultimately the net pension liability, which is on the balance sheet. So at the end of December 31st, 2023, which is the measurement date, the city's estimated liability for for anybody participating in TMRS, 317,000, which is that first column in that table on page 33. The city's planned fiduciary net position, so those are assets held at TMRS in the city's name to fund that liability, were 320,000. So actually we're sitting at a little bit of an asset position. So your planned assets at TMRS is actually exceeding your estimated liability at the end of this year, which is a good position to be in. So that's a well-funded pension plan as of this measurement date. And so that's really the highlights that I kind of wanted to point out to you, and just kind of some touch points for where you were at this point in time. Past that goes into some supplementary schedules and additional schedules that are required to be included. So I'm gonna, before I go to the next section, I'm just gonna take a breath and see if anybody has any questions on any of the financial information that's in here, or if there's anything that y'all want me to talk about in any more detail.
No, ma'am.
Okay.
No.
We're good, Valerie.
Thank you. Okay, so the final section then is starting on page 47, and this is on our internal control over financial reporting. So this report is required because we perform the audit in accordance with government auditing standards, which means that we are required to report to you on any material weaknesses or significant deficiencies in internal controls that we identify during the course of the audit. We did have three findings, which is that there were material audit adjustments that were required to be made, and that there were kind of inadequate segregation of duties, which that particular finding is just very, very common for a city of this size. And particularly during 2024 and the bulk of that year, before there was a consultant engaged and all that stuff, there was a little more susceptibility. And so we're really reporting on the conditions as of 2024. And then the third one is bank reconciliations. And again, as we've kind of already alluded to, that transition from one accounting software to the next really put a big old wrinkle in kind of all of these processes and made those bank reconciliations really difficult. And so that took a little bit of work to get it back to where it should be. But in my conversations with Susan, that is currently reconciled, and we're looking at 2024 and these findings. And also I'll point out that these findings were also stated in 2023, and that audit was completed, in August of 2025. So there was really no time between. So it's issues that the city has been aware of, and it's just been taking time to get them cleaned up. So I know that the city's been working diligently to address those, and I'm sure they look forward to seeing those go away as the roots of their hard work come to fruition in the future audits. So those were the three findings that we had, and those are really kind of the major highlights that I felt like I wanted to share with you, and I'm happy to answer any more questions or discuss anything else that you would like to discuss.
Right, page 49 and 50, 47, 49, and 50 got my attention. And so I'm sure that y'all are all aware of those significant findings, and we are making changes, so we will be in the clear on it, especially on reconciliation.
Right, so, yes, sir, and that has been going on really ever since Susan started up. So understand, this is the year that it was that transition. So
Yes.
when Valerie does the 24-25, you're not going to see, I think, some of these findings. Also, I want to remind the council, you guys approved the internal controls. When did we bring that?
That was just this fiscal year.
This fiscal year, okay, so you're still going to see the deficiency probably because we didn't have the actual internal controls adopted in 24-25, but you'll see it hopefully go away in the current fiscal year 25-26 because of the fact that now we have that internal controls document. But we have segregated the duties a long time ago. We're just now playing catch up, and that's why in 23-24 we didn't have some of this in place, but we have since
I understand the duties, and but it was reconciliation. I thought that's basic bookkeeping.
Yes, sir, you're right, and we were not apparently doing it the way we were supposed to have done it, but ever since Susan took over in 24,
Midway through 24.
yeah, we have done the reconciliation the way it should be, and so, yes, so it's.
I understand this was a particular challenge. But these are some very important findings.
Oh, no, absolutely.
And so we're on top of it and above and beyond it probably.
Yeah, so hopefully some of this you will not see it when they do the 24-25, and I know the separation is, you won't see that either, because that's, when they do the 25-26 because of our internal controls policy.
But the numbers in the audit look great, and also direct reflection on the management of the city, and I thank you.
Appreciate it, thank you.
The only concern I had was, as always, when we do the audit, is the things that they write at the end. In which I knew that we were going to have problems with switching employees, switching software, grateful for the staff. You read the part that they talk about how good the staff was to work with, and there was no disagreements with, and I could see where that could go south in a hurry, where maybe the staff didn't agree with the county
It's
department.
defensive.
Yes, and that was not there, so that's good.
That
for
has
me.
happened before.
Yes, yes. So I was glad to see that, and expect bigger, better ones next time, but we'll get there.
Well, and I think the NWH Group is starting to get a feel for our organization, because what is this, Valerie, the third audit you've done for us already?
Yes, sir. I believe that's right.
Is it?
2021, yes.
Yeah, and we're still under contract with them to do, I think, through this fiscal year, and then we'll have to do another agreement either with NWH or put on RFP or whatever, but yeah, so they've, I think, started to get a feel for our operations now, and Susan certainly has a feel for what it is that they're needing to be able to do their audit. So they have a portal now where we just upload documents, so it makes it even that much easier and smoother for us to do future audits going forward from this one here.
Excellent.
Any other questions of our auditor? If not, we can thank her and cut her loose, Mayor.
You know anything?
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank
Thanks,
you.
Valerie.
Yeah, thank you, John and Susan. We appreciate all your help getting through it.
We'll be talking to you soon on the 24-25.
Perfect. We look forward to it.
That's all that item, Mayor.
Good for a motion.
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the annual audit for fiscal year 2023 to 2024.
You
Second.
have a second? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Receive, consider, and act on the resolution 2026-07-03-195, adopting an economic development program policies and procedure pursuant to Texas Local Government Code 3, Chapter 38.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm going to start this off, and then I'll probably ask our Messer Ford attorney, Lisa Modis, to pick up from there. She emailed the council last week a draft policy, economic development program policies and procedures, and I'm hoping you've had a chance to take a look at it. If you recall, based on our conversations with our city attorney, with Robin, we were made aware that we need to have a policies and procedures first before we start issuing any further Chapter 380 economic development agreements or any other economic development incentives. And so that's what we're trying to do here, is we're trying to have the council adopt this economic development program policies and procedures. And then now, once we have something in place, then when we have requests going forward, we now have procedures to follow. We're actually going to have an actual application form. There'll be an application fee because we'll have to review things like, has this company filed bankruptcy? Has this company defaulted on any type of economic development incentive agreement with another city? I mean, things that we need to do our due diligence before we bring something before the council for you all to consider. So we're going to be working with Lisa and Messer Ford on any future economic development incentives that are requested. In the meantime, what prompted this so quickly was we have a Chapter 380 request that came in from a local business. I know we have an agenda item for that this evening, but we're going to have to move that to next month because, or the first meeting in August, because we're not ready to settle on terms yet. But we are ready to hopefully answer any questions you might have regarding the program policies and procedures. And again, Lisa, who's got quite a bit of experience in drafting these, I think put together a very good document that makes it very clear what needs to be in there. Now, we determine, for example, what are some of those thresholds that you want to have, how much of an financial investment, you know, how many jobs, things of that nature. So in conversations with Susan and I, we came up with what we thought the council might want to consider approving, but this is the time for you to ask any questions and for you guys to decide if you want to make any of those changes, so that hopefully by the time we're done with this item, you have a document you feel comfortable with, we can adopt it, and now we have procedures and a process to move forward to, and we'll be able to tell anyone in the future, if you want an incentive, here are the things that you're going to have to meet. So with that, I want to turn it over to Lisa. Is there anything specifically you want to address that's in this procedures and policies? Did she freeze up? I think Lisa's frozen.
Hello, Lisa?
She is sitting very still.
Yeah.
Robin, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you.
All right, I think Lisa might have frozen up.
Let me see if I can text her.
Yeah, I don't know if she's having internet issues or what.
You want her to call in?
Sure, yeah, if she'll call my phone, I can just put her on speakerphone.
Okay, well, let me try that and see if that works.
Oh, I think she's back on. Lisa, can you hear
Okay.
us?
I don't know what happened. So I just wanted to do a quick overview and then highlight a few sections and then go over hopefully some procedures under the policy, which will smooth out the process, make it very efficient. So just overall, the policy, it's broken up into 7 sections. This first section, it goes into kind of the purpose of having the policy. Some language to just be aware of is that the purpose and the intent of adopting these policies and procedures are to ensure that any incentives that are awarded by the city result in a public purpose being carried out, and that can include promoting business development, enhancing the current economic base, diversifying local businesses, and reducing local unemployment. So that overall purpose kind of lays the groundwork for what incentive awards and any agreements should include, which is furthering a public purpose tied to economic development. The second section, section B, it sets out just different items to consider in awarding incentives. So the incentives can go towards a number of different activities related to a project. So that could be acquiring land, building acquisition costs, maybe improving current existing infrastructure, or improving or expanding capacity for current infrastructure. And then there's conveying property, and of course, assisting businesses to relocate to the city. So if they are expanding, maybe they want to relocate existing headquarters or open a new office. And then, of course, any incentives awarded have to be in line with the policies and procedures. I think the most important section is this section C. It does bake in a number of requirements under state law and under the Constitution to ensure that incentives meet what's called the 3-part test. So this is a test that is set out in case law. It basically it includes 3 different parts, 3 prongs, which are ensuring that any kind of incentive is to accomplish a public purpose and not to benefit a private party. So we already went over what that public purpose would be. So it's got to be something tied to economic development for purposes of this policy. As part of that incentive, the city should retain public control over the funds to ensure that the public purpose is actually met, and basically to protect the public's investment. Since these incentives will either use public funds or impact the availability of public funds to the city, we want to make sure that it's a wise use of dollars. And again, that this incentive is not just to benefit a private party. And then the third part of that test is to ensure that the political subdivision actually receives the benefit that it bargained for. So that is tied into retaining public control. So for whatever reason, the entity is not able to perform, there needs to be some mechanism to secure performance, or a mechanism to recapture the funds, or get those funds paid back, or if it's property, to get the property back. Let's see, another important aspect is the but-for requirement. So the incentive, you want the incentive to actually be worthwhile and impactful. And what that means is without the incentive, the project either wouldn't occur at all or would not occur to the same scope or magnitude. So it might be a new headquarters or a new building, but it wouldn't be as big, or maybe the infrastructure wouldn't serve as many households or businesses or residences. And then number 3 is that adequate return benefit requirement. That what that means is that the incentive should be commensurate with the return benefit. So, if there's going to be a larger dollar incentive or a large piece of property with high fair market value, the benefit to the city should be pretty equivalent, so that again, you can meet that test, which is not to primarily benefit a private party. So you want the city to see a return benefit based on the award amount. So I would say that section right there is pretty important. And then the section D, it really sets out just minimum eligibility requirements. And that is what Mr. Cabrales alluded to earlier. There's some minimum private investment requirements, some minimum employment numbers, and also increasing annual sales tax revenues by a certain threshold amount. So those numbers can be raised, or they could be lowered. So right now it's a floor. And so we wanted to set out some basically talking points so that y'all could consider these and discuss them and figure out if this works for this policy and procedure at this time. In the future, they can be amended. So if we learn that maybe that floor is either too high or maybe too low, then these numbers could be amended in the future. Any agreement or any incentives need to be encapsulated in an agreement that is set out in section E. And I will say that there's some key incentives or considerations baked into this section. That way, in negotiating these agreements, there's times when we either have an out-of-state developer or an out-of-state attorney. They don't understand that there are certain things that are required under case law or state law or our state constitution. And lots of times I have to explain that we can't do things like negotiate away the governmental authority of the city, right? Or we can't guarantee a certain outcome of the permit review process. Because that would not be upheld if it were challenged. So some of these concepts are baked into this section E under the economic development agreement section. And that also gives staff some backing so they can point to this and say, well, this was something our council authorized via the policy, and in coming up with a term sheet, these items should be in the term sheet. Section F, it sets out application requirements. So these are just the minimum amount of information of what city staff needs to review the applicant, make sure that they have some experience, make sure they have sufficient funds to actually complete the project, make sure they haven't filed bankruptcy within a certain amount of time or violated another agreement, either with the city or another political subdivision. And then also just to make sure that they've thought the project through. So is it, something that's actually viable and can be funded? And that also helps to evaluate the but-for test. So they should be able to come up with a significant amount of the funds, and the city is just providing gap funds. So the city would not be providing, say, 80% of the financing. It should really be flip-flopped. The developer or the company should really be able to bring maybe 70-80% of the whole project cost funds to the table, either through their own financing or assets with a loan, and then the city is going to help get that project over the finish line. And then the process for evaluation, that is in section G. That really helps set out the process of review and approval. And there's a requirement that before an item is brought to council, a signed letter of intent needs to be signed. And that should include all of the material key points that will be in the resolution before the council, and then eventually the development agreement itself. So this is another section that sort of sets out the groundwork of what is required. And then that section 5 under section G, that goes over the 3-part test that I talked about earlier. So this just confirms that in order to approve an incentive, council will make sure that the project and the incentive accomplish a public purpose, that the agreement will have some kind of protections for the city to retain public control. And if the return benefit is not actually met, that the city will have some recourse. So if it's land, they're going to take the land back, or if it's a dollar amount that's awarded, we would have the ability to recapture it. Or if it's an abatement, then there's going to be some sort of a payment if that entity does not actually perform like it said it would. So that's pretty much it in terms of going over the policy just from a high level. And I'm available for questions, as is Mr. Cabrales.
Any questions?
I just had one question. This is a floor, right? So if we had something that was bigger and we wanted to say, well, we want you to invest more to give you X, we can do that, right?
Yes, sir, you
Okay.
can.
Just wanted to confirm.
Yeah, so we just set out a floor at this point. There were, in looking at various policies, there are some that have tables, like if it's X amount of dollars, you're going to create this amount of jobs. But since we're sort of just starting this out, we didn't feel we had enough information to really put together a table like that. And hopefully in the future, we'll have a little bit more information.
Great document. Thank you.
Over the weekend, I was reviewing some 380 agreements that I could find online. And there were some older ones that,
I was watching soccer.
yeah, I found some that they were older, but the agreement didn't transfer if the company sold.
You want to speak to agreements being specific to a company?
Sure. There are times when you want an agreement to be assignable and then allow another entity to step into the shoes of the initial performer. But there are times that you don't want that, right? So really it should be project specific. Sometimes say there's a large company or a franchise company, say it's a restaurant that with a lot of franchisees, you may want another entity to be able, or another owner to step into the shoes because they're sort of a known quantity or a known business, and you want to keep that restaurant or storefront in the city with those incentives. There's other times if it's a conveyance and it's going to be a completely different business, you may not want that incentive to go with a new owner. So it really is fact specific and dependent. In general, my advice is either not to allow an assignment until after, say, construction is finished and the doors of the business are open and it's operating and up and running, or allow for assignment, but with consent. And that consent can be conditioned on getting some information on this new business, so that the city and the administrator, they can kind of evaluate whether or not this other new business or new owner are going to perform and be good stewards of the city's funds. And I would say that the only other exception would be sometimes if it's an affiliate or a wholly owned subsidiary, you may want to go ahead and allow for assignment. And usually we can write an assignment and assumption agreement that's pretty tight and pretty favorable to the city to allow that affiliate or wholly owned subsidiary to step in. But then we're going to need some information to be sure that, it is who they say they are, right? Are they truly a subsidiary? So we're going to ask for some business documents, some organizational documents, some business charts, just to verify that.
All right. Any other questions?
No, sir.
I think it's pretty good.
This is an actionable item.
What's the blank on there for?
I'm sorry, the blank.
It says it includes the following terms, and then there's a blank.
What page are you on, sir?
I don't think you're on the right one.
Please.
Economic Development Program Policies and Procedures, page 2.
I'm on grant.
Not for
No, that's the next one.
That's the next one.
individual creating.
Oh, not bad.
You're on 8B.
Yeah, 8B.
All right.
I'm with you now.
Are we ready?
Yes.
I move to approve a resolution 202607-03-195, adopting an economic development programs policy and procedures pursuant to Texas Local Government Code, Chapter 3A.
Motion, do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, that's unanimous.
Thank you, Lisa, for your time. We appreciate it. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Thank you. And we are gonna.
Mayor, we're gonna skip 8C. Yes, sir. We'll bring that back to you hopefully August the 3rd.
Okay.
And D. So we're gonna move to D.
Yes, so D, we're moving to D.
Hold a public hearing, consider the act on an ordinance 2026-07-02-144, amending various provisions of the Code of Ordinances of the City of New Fairview, specifically amending Chapter 4, Building Regulations, by adopting and incorporating into the Code of Ordinances by reference the 2021 International Building Code, the 2021 International Residential Code, the 2020 National Electric Code, the 2021 International Plumbing Code, the 2021 International Mechanical Code, the 2021 International Fuel Gas Code, the 2021 International Energy Conservation Code, the 2021 International Property Maintenance Code, the 2021 International Swimming Pool and Spa Code, and the International Existing Building Code, and providing for the adoption of certain local amendments, including amendments as recommended by the North Central Texas Council of Governments of the building codes being adopted.
Take a breath. Well, you said a mouthful, Mayor. Yes, so Mayor and Council, as you recall, you had a discussion with our building official regarding the bringing up to date most of our codes of 2021, with the exception of the electrical code, which is 2020. And you asked us or directed staff to go ahead and proceed with an ordinance to do so. Because a public hearing is required, Mayor, I'm going to ask you if you don't mind opening up a public hearing at this time.
All right, so we will open a public hearing at 7:18.
Thank you. So, now that you've opened the public hearing, we did post notice as required in the Wise Messenger to let folks know that we were going to be talking about these codes, and council was going to be considering adopting the codes to bring it up to this year, 2021, again with the exception of the electrical code. What you notice is missing out of here is the fire code, but that's because we're teeing up a work session discussion at the next meeting with the fire chief so that they can tell you why they're going to be recommending the 2024 fire code, as well as some changes I'm working on with the city attorney to make to our chapter, I think it's chapter 6, a fire prevention code of ordinances, so we can add the marshal and the marshal duties and some other language in there as well. So the public hearing is to allow the public an opportunity to come in and voice any concerns or issues they might have with any of these codes.
Thank goodness we don't play the same rules the fire department has to play by. There's just 20 minutes.
Oh, gosh.
What do you mean 20 minutes?
They have to have it open
Oh,
for 20
regardless.
minutes, yeah, so we sit there and just look at each other.
Wow, okay.
Yeah. And I have to be there because either me or
You're the head official of the
yes.
community,
or,
or the judge.
county judge, one of the two of us has to attend and sit through the whole 20 minutes.
Wow.
Is there anything we should be more up to date on, or?
Well,
While we wait?
no, remember he went over the revisions with you, and then also you'll notice in your packet, or actually I believe it's maybe even in the ordinance, Robin did a good job of adding the amendments, the COG amendments, in the ordinance as well. So you see
Yes.
the COG actually has experts, officials, whether you're an electrician, you're a plumber, you deal with the energy code, and they have a committee that reviews the international codes, and then they add amendments to make it specific for our area. Because you can imagine, for example, the energy code is the one I like to use. The amount of insulation you need to put, say in Michigan or
Right.
Illinois, is a lot different than the amount of insulation you
Well,
need to
this
put
is
here in Texas.
international.
It does.
There's countries that need more
Well, yeah,
insulation
it's
than
true,
even
right?
Michigan.
But this is why you adopt them with the local amendments, and in this case, our local amendments are the COG amendments. So that's why, if you're doing the job right, that you, as a city, you're adopting local amendments along with, otherwise, some of these codes can be unreasonable for our area.
Along those lines, let me dovetail with what John had said. The NTCOG also, just within the state of Texas, will distinguish between very urban areas like Dallas, Fort Worth, Metro behemoth, right, which is very dense and urban, and more outlying, more rural areas like New Fairview. And so they'll have an option for some of the codes, they'll have an option A and an option B that make that distinction. And so what you have in front of you, I think, should represent that more urban, or I'm sorry, more rural and less urban option. The other major changes, the city did not previously have an international swimming pool and spa code. So this is now included in what you have before you. And additionally, there's something called existing buildings code, which was a new one for me. And it's like, what is that? But when I spoke with Lee Swain, he had indicated that that is an option for people who want to do renovations of their existing structures, so that it's more affordable for them than, for example, new construction. And so he did recommend that the city include that existing buildings international code as well, which it didn't have previously.
So Mayor, if there are no questions of staff, then I would recommend you call and see if there's any public comment during this public hearing.
Any questions from council?
No, sir.
Any questions from the audience?
No, sir.
Okay, no questions from the audience.
Then you can close the public hearing and give us the time.
7:23, we'll close the public hearing.
Thank you. And this is an actionable item.
So do we have a motion?
I'd like to make a motion to approve ordinance 2026-07-02-144 as presented.
Cheat.
Y'all knew I wasn't gonna read that.
He knows how to do it.
We're all waiting for it.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? None.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you, Robin, for your help. We appreciate it. I hope your husband's doing better, man.
Thank you, Robin.
Thank
Thank you
you.
very much. I appreciate it. Okay. Good night.
All right.
So we're gonna skip executive session. We do have no executive session tonight.
Mayor,
Correct?
I think we still have 8E.
8E? Oh, we did. I'm sorry. I wrote all over it.
You missed that, I'm sorry.
Receive, consider an act on an interlocal agreement for limited road maintenance services for the city of Aurora, Texas, by the city of New Fairview, Texas.
Thank you, Mayor. I will take this one. So Mayor and Council, as I mentioned to you, we have been discussing with the City of Aurora and also the City of Paradise. In fact, I attended a city council meeting in Aurora a month or so ago where they directed the city administrator to go ahead and work with me on drafting an interlocal agreement so that we could go and perform some limited road maintenance in one subdivision of Aurora. Exhibit A and Exhibit B clearly show you what those repairs are, what types of repairs are going to be done, the dimensions of the repairs, the locations of the repairs, and the repair costs that Aurora is going to have to pay the city of New Fairview. As I mentioned to you before, we're fortunate that we have the equipment, we've got the personnel, we've got the training and knowledge and ability to be able to do a project like this to help out one of our neighboring cities, but also it will bring in a little additional income revenue for the city, and it's not going to have a negative impact to our operations here in the city. In fact, we are working it into where we do crack sealing for us. We'll just go down and do a day or so crack sealing in Aurora towards this project, or same thing with pothole repairs. The city council in Aurora did ask if we could work on this expeditiously because they want to get this done preferably before the end of the fiscal year, because after we're done, they want to enter into a contract with
Hall Brothers.
Hall Brothers, well, apparently it's a local company, to come in and put a coating over the road, which will help seal in and rejuvenate the road, which I think is wise on their part. And so they're waiting for us to go in and get done and move out of the way, and then they're going to have this other company come in. When this project is done, it's done. There is no other agreement with Aurora for us to do anything else. Now, if they approach us later on and say they want to do something else, we'll go through the process again. We'll go out there, we'll assess, we'll sit down, we'll crunch numbers, we'll visit with them, and then if they're still agreeable, then I'll bring something back from the council for you all to consider. I will tell you, we currently are doing that right now with Paradise, but Paradise is wanting something for next fiscal year, so we're still waiting on getting information from them, and we're bringing something to you. But again, that's still in the works, so I don't know what that's going to end up looking like. So with that, I'm happy to answer any questions you might have, and if I can't, Joshua Barnwell could probably answer the question you might have.
It was pretty clear cut.
Only thing I would like to see, and it has nothing to do with this, but once we're done, if we approve this and we do this project, and then they hire that company to come do the next project, step B, I would like to see that all the data and information from that, so we could maybe
Assess
assess if that's something we need to look at for us.
I have a good working relationship with Hall Brothers, so there'll be no problem. And not only see the application process live, it's what's called a friction seal, but to also collect the data afterwards and basically monitor it to see how it holds up.
Okay.
And I'll ask the new city administrator, in case you're not aware, the city administrator from Aurora is leaving to start a job with the city of Denton. So they're looking for a new city administrator. So whoever ends up being, so whoever the city administrator ends up being, then I'll visit with them as well now. But I'm sure we can get their hands on that data.
How long will this work take us?
All together, like we were to do it all in one fell swoop, a week and a half,
Okay.
allowing for some
So
cushion.
we'll be able to get it done in this time frame with other
Correct.
projects?
Yeah, we're very fortunate that of all the operations that we have done here at the city, since we started upping our game, if you will, crack sealing and the very rudimentary pothole repair that we're having to do here, 4 or 5 potholes, is something that we're really good at.
Okay.
Because most of the potholes are not very big. There's one that's decent size.
It is, but it's
everything else
not.
is small.
Yeah.
They need to come over here and we'll show them.
Chisholm Hills, hey, that's a lot bigger than this.
Yes.
Yeah, so,
Was this Aurora Vista?
yes.
Yes, yeah.
That's why we don't want potholes bigger than this.
Yes,
right.
yes.
Expectations are a little different, I understand, in that subdivision.
A lot of, yes.
I don't have any other questions.
No questions, do I have a motion?
I move to approve an interlocal agreement for limited road maintenance services for the city of Aurora, Texas by the city of Newberry, Texas.
Motion, do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Passes unanimously.
Thank you, Mayor and Council.
Now we'll skip the executive session.
Yes, sir.
And we'll have mayor and council member announcements. Any announcements?
You want to announce the meeting on Wednesday?
We have a WPUA meeting, Westport Public Utilities, meeting Wednesday at 6.
6.
In Boyd.
No. No, not that I wouldn't do it, I'm just saying there's no way I couldn't,
And then,
because it's Wednesday.
and of course, as John mentioned earlier, our back to school event is Saturday.
See, now you've been choked up.
That's all right, see, that's what happens.
And then I had one more thing that I was going to cover. There we go. And I was hoping Pete would be here so I could ask him, because I asked the county and haven't got any reply back from the county. But as a Carter Blood Care member, I received a notification from Carter saying that Wise County EMS was going to have a blood drive here at our facility on August the 25th from 10 to 4.
I haven't
Nobody
received
told
any
us.
response.
Yeah, this is new stuff.
This
And-
is
and
news to us.
Susan reached out
Yes.
to that
No
contact,
response.
So
so we may or may not.
we may have a blood drive on August the 25th.
Maybe.
And if we do, be
Is that a
advised to please
weekday?
come.
That's a weekday.
It's a weekday, yes, it's on a Thursday.
Because typically when we have a
Why can't we
Carter
ever do
Care
things on the
drive,
weekends?
they usually reach out to us and we get flyers out, we do all of
Yes.
this, but nobody's ever contacted
Yeah,
us.
except-
Is it another battle of the badges?
No,
We
no,
haven't
No,
done
it's
it.
not
We
even
don't know
that.
They
It's
haven't
just-
said anything,
Yeah.
so I don't know.
I do know that now the ambulances can carry blood.
Yes, and that's, they get credit from,
Yes.
Wise County. So we help out EMS by.
I think that's amazing, because if
Oh,
they're
yeah.
losing a whole lot of blood, let's go ahead and start pumping some into them before we get to the hospital.
Yeah, so, I don't know, Mayor, we'll see what we can find out, but so far we've not been able to make contact with Carter Blood Care.
But I was wanting everybody to know that that was out there on the table, because I did receive a notification from Carter.
Yep.
All right, so with that, do we have a motion to adjourn from the regular session so we can go to the work session, so don't get up and run.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, that's
Everything from the
Mayor, could I have a
work.
Yes,
Great.
so we'll have a 5-minute recess and come back to the work session.
Because if it's all paper, then I'll close my computer.
Yeah, I don't know, if Susan, did you load this on their laptop or not?
No, you told me not to, I printed.
Okay, so that's just a printout, yes, so it's just,
Yes,
you can close their
everybody's
laptop, it's
printer.
just these two printouts that we're gonna go over.
You know I steal these pens every time I come here.
That's where they
That's where
go.
they're going. Listen, I ordered
I
those
didn't know
specifically
this.
for y'all because they're nice pens.
Well, we have a budget.
That's right.
And every time I come, I get a new one because I have to take that little plastic thing.
I'm not gonna leave one out for you, you know.
Ah.
She's like, if you want a pen, you bring one your dang self.
This is not gonna be you.
Yeah, I know which mine looks like.
Like, why are you sleeping?
I'm just standing there.
It's so good.
Okay, so this one.
You got a stretch for this? Should we all be stretching?
Yes, these numbers are gonna scare you.
Oh my gosh, John.
Just joking. No,
Be afraid.
these are
Very
the,
afraid.
these are the boring funds, it's
Yeah,
like
this
the jury
one's
fund,
not as
right?
bad, yes, this is not as bad.
For the, building security fund. you want to go straight to the transportation impact fee slide.
Oh, yes, I do, I see it. Code enforcement.
Oh, yeah.
We just need to change the wording, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
on that, everything else is. That's right, I was telling her, that's why we use one template. Copy paste. And we missed the cover, the.
He just wants to
Copy and
pretend like
template.
he works all the time.
That AI, I'm gonna tell you what.
Yeah, we got an email at work over the weekend, for us to be there, ready to read Monday morning. Then, due to things that have happened in the past, that, if you was sending an email to management of any kind to plead a case about anything, but they now have us a Microsoft AI to help us write those, so that you might have a better chance of your,
Everybody get your case?
yeah, making your case.
Really?
Yeah.
So everybody's tone sounds the exact same, nobody has their own tone.
Well, when you deal with a lot of technicians in small towns, you get a lot of
Yeah.
emails that you can't.
It's hard to understand,
Yes.
because it's like.
It's like Boomhauer.
It's in their head, they just can't get it from there to there.
There.
Just pretend like she works there. It's fine.
You ready?
You said 5 minutes, hasn't been 5
Oh, sorry.
Well, it wasn't literal.
God, let her be.
Are you trying to be here till 10:30?
I'm just trying to get these folks home.
Well, we appreciate that.
Yeah.
We gotta hurry up, cause I'm out of cane.
He already reaches 2 of each
I used
limit.
all I could.
2 of each.
I've never seen somebody that much.
It looked like Noah's Ark there, 2 of each.
Look at all these papers.
What an
Look,
accomplishment.
he's collecting the paper.
That's not me.
If his wife asks, calls and asks.
I was gonna say, who's got his
salad.
wife's number? Let's text her right quick.
Hey, if his wife calls, he just had a salad.
Yeah, he's the only
That's all
one
I
here
saw.
that eats bananas. We can't believe it.
I didn't see anything else, ma'am.
My doctor told me today I need to lay off the processed sugar for 90 days, so. He told me today.
So,
Okay,
That's-
that starts tomorrow.
That's
That
why
starts
he didn't tell me
tomorrow.
until, he didn't tell me till after lunch today, so today doesn't
Doesn't
count.
count,
That's
yeah.
right.
It's not a full day, it doesn't count.
Let's
Oh,
talk
I
about tomorrow.
love that. I love that.
Okay, meanwhile, I got bread.
I was wondering.
Looking for something?
Are you gonna change my slides, or you want me to guess?
No, sir,
Oh.
let me be your assistant today.
Are you ready?
Oh my God. See what you started, Joshua?
Hey, it wasn't me.
So
It's your Von Roche guy.
we'll call this, work session to order at, closing the computer, 7:39. Roll call.
Ricky Jones?
Stephen King.
John Pettit,
Lisa Shanks.
we have a quorum.
Yes, sir.
So we'll go, receive a
We're
report.
gonna skip 2, okay?
Skip 2.
Yes, sir. Item 2, so
Oh,
we're
yeah,
on
skip
item
2, I
3.
marked it up.
Oh.
3, receive a report and hold discussion regarding the proposed fiscal year 2026, 2027 annual budget.
Thank you, Mayor. So as part of our budget workshops, I'm now going to cover our special revenue funds. If you will go to the next slide, please. There you go. The transportation impact fee is one of our special revenue funds, but we maintain money that we collect on impact fees. Again, just to remind you, the column on the far left is what our numbers showed to be actually closed out 24-25. The second column is what was adopted for the current year, 25-26. The third column is where we were trending at the end of May of this year. The fourth column is how we think we're going to close out the 25-26 budget. And then the last column is the amounts that we anticipate adding to it for the fiscal year 26-27. So as you can see, we have money in this fund. At some point, we're going to need to transfer some of these funds over to help cover a portion of either Pioneer Road or maybe some other CIP funded road. Remember, the monies from this road can only be used on those roads that we have as part of our thoroughfare plan, which the map is up in my office in case you're wondering what that looks like, so to refresh your memory. So having said that, we think we will be bringing in 1.1 million next year, expenditures somewhere around 770,000. And then we hope to maybe leave a balance of about 389,000. Any questions on the transportation impact fee fund? Okay, next slide please. Jury fund, this is something we're required by law to collect a certain percentage of certain types of citations. As you can see, this, we're not dealing with large numbers here because we don't collect very much. And we are supposed to use this if we ever have a jury trial. We've never had a jury trial. I think Susan and Renee never want to have a jury trial, if at all possible.
Oh, is this to
But-
pay the jury?
It's like-
Is that a little $7 or
You
what?
can either use it to pay the jury, you can use it to buy lunch or snacks for the jury.
I mean, that's better than a check for like $12.
What? Yeah. So if we ever have a jury trial, then we think we'll have, at the end of this year, $372.90 in that account that we can do something for our jurors. Big bucks. Questions on that?
Cookies and punch.
Next is the court building security. This is one where state law had changed, and so very few revenues are going into this fund now because this was added in consolidated, ironically enough, into the consolidation fund. So these are just for tickets that were issued prior to March.
No, it was September of last year
Last
on
year?
the legislative update, or the last legislative update, and then they consolidated the court security and technology together to create the consolidated.
Yeah, so any citations that were issued, I guess, prior to September,
That's correct.
the funds still go in here.
Here and.
But anything that was issued after that, they go into the consolidated. So you're still collecting, it just depends on which pot you're putting in. We'll notice that this pot is starting to dwindle down, so we think at the end of the year, we're gonna have $447 in this account. We think we'll bring in another 300, and we plan to wipe it out, so we're gonna take 700 out sometime next year, leaving us with about 50 bucks left in the account. So eventually this account's gonna go away, but we use this for court security or court technology expenses, okay? All right, then next one, the juvenile case manager, Fund 7.
Yeah, it got stuck on the journal.
It's stuck? Okay. Well, they've got,
There it
you
goes.
have your sheet.
Never
So,
mind, it's
Fund
fine.
7 is the juvenile case manager, so we collect money into these funds. It's very restrictive on how you can use these funds. However, in discussions with Susan and Renee and the TECE, whatever that is, agency that municipal court administrators follow, we've determined that if we assign some juvenile case manager duties to one of our staff, we can actually use a portion of this money to cover a portion of their annual salary. So you'll see there on fiscal year 26-27, $10,000 in reimbursement for municipal court. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the title to our Permit Tech 1
Or deputy court clerk.
Deputy Court Clerk and add juvenile case manager duties on there so that we will go ahead and she'll be able to handle juvenile cases and we'll be able to move $10,000 out of this fund into the general fund to help cover for $10,000 of her annual salary. So that's how we're going to be able to at least start to tap into the funds that we have here, because again, they're very restrictive. And we're never, anytime in the near future, gonna get to a point where our court is so large that we're handling volumes of juveniles coming through here that we'll actually have to hire a full-time juvenile case manager.
Well, this is like for speeding tickets or if they get an assault ticket and stuff like that.
MIPs, things like that. Yeah. Okay, all right, next slide, please.
If we had a school, you'd use that more often.
Probably so. Court Technology Fund, another special revenue fund. This is another one that the legislature closed back in September. So you see the money is dwindling coming in here because it's being put over in the consolidated fund. So we think we're going to close out the year with a whopping $172. We think we'll bring in maybe $200 next year. And so we'll take out $250, leaving us with about $152. But eventually this one's going to zero out sometime in the future. Questions? Okay. Next one is our CIP fund. So this is where we take out our money for our major projects. This is where we put in the money from our bond issuances, or we put in money from CDBG grant that we get, or any other revenue that we get. So as you can see, for this year, we're projected to have bring in about $48,000, but we're going to have about $2.7 million in projects that we've done this fiscal year. So that's going to leave us about $775,000. Then next year, we'll be bringing in the money from the agreement that we've made with the MUD for Pioneer. And so when you add that and you finish out the cost for Pioneer and then Graham that we'll be doing, you will see that we're going to end up closing out the year with about $1.2 million in reserve funds. Now these numbers are a little trickier because, as you know, we have change orders and other items that we bump up against that we need to take care of. So I don't have as much faith in these estimates as I do the others. They're close, but I just want you to know these are not dollar for dollar type, because these projects are large and they sometimes vary in a change order. Even a 10% change order can sway these funds around. But at the end of the day, what I'm trying to relay here is we're accounting for our expenses and we're accounting for the funds that we're using for these capital projects, and we're still doing good. Questions on that? Okay, then let's go to Fund 10, the Parks Grant Fund. As you recall, we landed a $150,000 Texas Parks and Wildlife grant this current year. The Parks Board has been diligently working on spending those funds for stuff that we've added out to our park. So at the end of this year, we think we're going to have, and remember that works in the reimbursement. You got to spend the money first and then submit it to Texas Parks and Wildlife. They review it, and then when they approve it, then they give us our money back. So we think of the $150,000, we're going to get about almost $64,000 of that this fiscal year. We'll get some more next year. But as it relates to projects, we have spent $82,500 more or less this year. That's all we think we're going to spend this fiscal year. We'll spend the remaining amount next fiscal year, particularly when we build that multi-purpose court. So when all said and done and we've finished that second grant, we will have just under $10,000 left in our parks fund. Questions on that? Okay, next item, debt service. This is a very important fund to us. This is where our INS rate goes, the funds that we collect. That's why you see up there in red. We don't know what the property tax is going to be because we don't know what the valuations are yet. We'll get those on Friday. And then we don't know what our tax rates are going to be, so we get the two taxation calculations back in early August. And so then by then we'll be able to calculate more or less what we think this number is going to be. But at the end of the day, we're definitely going to collect more than the $448,925 that we know we're going to have to pay next year. And this is the debt service we pay for both the 2021 and the 2023 bonds. Just so you'll know, those payments are made twice a year. We make our first payment in February, and we make the second bigger payment in August. So that covers, and this is on that debt schedule that we got when we first, when the council first approved both the 21 and then the 23 CO bonds. Any questions on the debt service? Okay, we'll move on to the next one. TEDM, I forget what it stands for. but this is the Narcan, right?
This is the Narcan, or it can only be used for specific.
Okay, so we apparently got a little bit of money for Narcan, and so we have not been able to do anything. I think we tried to reach out, well, we tried to work with Youth Every Fire Rescue on training, and they weren't ready, and then we never set anything up with them. We reached out to
I can probably
Northwest
teach a Narcan
ISD.
class.
right?
I teach Narcan all the time.
And Northwest ISD said they didn't have a program, so, because you can partner with the school district to do Narcan program. So anyway, we got Narcan money just sitting here collecting interest. We'll see if we can find a program somewhere so we
Would it
can
be
do
a
it.
conflict of interest for her to do it?
I don't know, I'd have to ask the city attorney, but, yeah.
And I think you can get free Narcan at morenarcan.com or More Narcan, please. It's a grant, it's a state grant.
I think
and
$60.
And they've been donating, like, I don't know if it works for police departments. I don't see why it wouldn't work for the city.
I don't know, yeah. So, anyway, this is our Narcan fund and no activity, so we just collect interest for now. But we'll continue to see if we can find
That's good.
a
too.
program that we can use some of the $1,000 that we got in there.
Let's see if it's still a thing.
Fund 13, please. That's the Wise County Mayor's Coalition money. If you recall, we have been basically the bank for the Wise County Mayor's Coalition. They have pretty much used up all the funds that they had with helping the West Fork PUA get started, paying the attorney fees for that, as well as paying for engineering work that was being done to keep the discussions moving forward with Tarrant Regional Water District. And so they are done as far as money goes. At the last Wise County Mayor's Coalition meeting, they talked about maybe formalizing themselves, and that discussion maybe even, again, requiring cities to contribute money towards this. I don't know where they're going to go, but if they decide they're going to collect money again, more likely they're going to ask us to hang on to that money. So we're going to hang on to this account, and but right now there's no money left and no activity for the West County Mayor. Next slide, please. Here's that consolidated court security technology fund that we were telling you about that the legislature passed last session. And so as you can see, here's where we think we're going to collect about $6,630 this year. We spent $2,200 out of that, so we're going to have about $4,430 to carry over to next fiscal year. Again, we'll bring in another $6,100. We're going to use some of this money for paying for software. So that's why $7,790 is going to go out of there. That is one of the allowable uses for these restricted funds. And so at the end of the day, we should close out next fiscal year with just under $3,000 in this fund. Questions on that? Okay, the next one is the West Fork Public Utility Agency. Again, we were asked to be the bank until the West Fork PUA was able to get started and then find their own financial institution, and that's exactly what happened. So that's why you'll see that we wrote a check, and now as of the end of this year, we're going to have a zero balance on the books, and obviously at some point we'll close this out because we won't be handling the finances anymore for West Fork PUA. They're their own entity. So, but again, we have to do this for our auditor to be able to track money in, money out. Okay, questions? Okay, so now this next one is I just wanted to give the council an update on where we are so far with the balance sheet. So know that this is an ongoing discussion almost daily. I can tell you staff is thrilled. Every time I call them in and say we got to talk budget, they're just jumping for joy. Right now, as you can see on the far right column, between our property tax, again, it's still an unknown. We'll get valuations from WiseCat and DCAD Friday, and so we'll have a better idea of what that number is going to end up being. And then, of course, we'll get the Truth in Taxation form from Wise County Tax Office early August, and then we'll present something to the council so that you can go ahead and start to set the tax rate, and then for sure we'll know what that number is going to be. But for right now, if it's somewhere around 678, and then we're projecting 675,000 for sales tax next year, 102,000 in franchise fees, 937,000 for permits. Yes, again, that's how much we are growing in this community. 115 for fines and fees, and then 501,000 for other revenues, so bringing in just under $3 million in projected revenue for next year. Then as you look at all the different department expenditures, we're spending right at about $3 million. So right now, as of today, in our budget discussions for next year, we're at about $8.7 thousand in the black. Questions on this? Okay. Then the next one is our budget calendar. Please note those dates, particularly in August and the September 8th meeting. If you're not going to be able to be here for the September 8th meeting, please let me know as soon as possible. But we're getting close now to the time when we're going to need to have some public hearings. We'll be posting notice so that you guys can have a discussion on the tax rate and the budget for next fiscal year. And we have it teed up to have the budget adopted the first meeting in September. If for some reason something goes wrong, we can either call a special call meeting, or you can use the second meeting in September to adopt it. Suffice it to say, though, a budget needs to be adopted by September the 30th, or will be a violation of state law. Questions on the calendar?
September 8th shows to be a Tuesday, so that's a separate meeting.
So September 8th probably is a Tuesday because September 7th is Labor Day, which is a holiday.
Yeah, it's a regular meeting.
And when you guys approved your calendar,
It's a
when
holiday.
a holiday falls on a council meeting, you have your council meeting on that following Tuesday.
All right, let me move
Did I
that.
say that correctly, Susan?
Yes.
Any questions on the calendar?
No, sir.
Okay, Mayor, that's all I have on that one. But I do have follow-up discussions that I want to have with you. We have one more slide, or one more presentation, and then we're done.
I just add something. Everybody cringes on that 937 for permits. So just kind of give you an idea, right now Fairview Meadows 5, they're waiting on Encore. Encore still has not gotten them delivered, any
They
electricity.
still don't have
They
electricity
still
out
don't have
there?
electricity. They have the boxes, they don't have everything, although everything's run, there's no wire in the conduit and no transformers. That's what they're waiting. There are 27 houses, I went over there Sunday, 27 houses in construction. 9 of those are sold, and they have 12 gen sets, big gen sets running those 27 projects, because they can't pull off the projects that are done and move the generators because they gotta have them on there to be able to sell them.
Wow.
So they're fixing to run to 35 gen sets.
No way.
Yes.
Love to be the guy renting them those.
Yeah. They're from like 5 different companies because they can't keep
Because they can't get enough.
Are they running them, or they're putting them as part of the structure of the house?
No, they're running, they're big, big gen
power
sets,
plants?
power plants sitting outside.
Wow.
So, but
We just met with a rep from CoServe, was that last week?
Yep. Jen.
And
Yeah.
apparently, there's a dual service, so they could go either Encore or CoServe, but the developer chose to go Encore,
But
so CoServe can't come in and help them.
phase 1 was Encore.
Apparently, all of it is.
So that way, I mean, they didn't have a choice in phase 1. Phase 2 on, they had a choice, but they already started with Encore
Yeah,
because of where the property lines are.
wow, okay. Well, still, yeah, your point is, they're still building like crazy,
Yes.
even without electricity.
Without electricity, yes.
Wow.
Okay then.
Man.
So if you see, if they ever get wire pulled, there'll be about, I wouldn't be surprised if not 10 closings within a 15, 20-day period or less, because they're just sitting there waiting on electricity.
Wow. Okay. Okay, so Mayor and Council, I'm going to have Joshua Barnwell give you guys this presentation. We are bringing you back some of the items that we had discussed earlier that you wanted more information on. So with that, Joshua, you want to go through your slide presentation here? I think we're starting out with the radar speed sign comparison.
What do? You get enter
Yeah.
to move to the next slide?
Okay, all right. So the first one that we have is the one that was presented solo last time, the T600. Oh, no, I apologize. This is not that one. So this is another one that I found through another company. This ostensibly an incredibly similar item with the only difference being that this one does come with a ballistic resistant shield over display to lessen vandalism.
That might be a
Yeah,
one
we need
item.
If anybody's seen some of the signs around here, this is not out of the ordinary. This one also reports data, so it gives you the option of 35 different graphs where it's going to store data on speed and vehicle count of what comes by. Customizable messages, yes. You can go on there and put thank you, welcome, slow down. Yeah, that might be a little more custom than they want. And then this thing also comes with the option of having a simulated camera flash. So it has a small little white light in the corner.
You should be on your next slide. You're talking about the bullet points for the next slide.
Oh, I apologize. I was getting ahead of myself.
There.
And then the simulated camera flash to mimic the thought that they might be having a picture taken of them, for all those that are unaware of state law. The next one is going to be from a company.
Your phone number is listed at the bottom for when they.
Josh, can I ask a quick question?
Yes, sir.
On that? So, like where I was suggesting these, we have some speed limit signs in play.
Mhm.
This sounds like we're gonna replace those with another kind of round pole.
Yeah, same pole. The only different, and yeah, same speed limit sign. We have to meet any TCD requirements, we have to raise the speed limit sign up because the one that says your speed below it has to be 7 feet above the pavement. So just minor adjustments.
Okay. So could you use the poles or use the signs that are out there and just add?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
100%. Yes. The next one is from a company called Traffic Things. I won't lie, this is probably the least impressive. This one comes as, you know, as you see the yellow your speed sign, 11-inch display, really nothing else other than that. No other bells or whistles with this one. And again, I apologize for not going with the key features the same way I'm speaking. 1,000-foot visibility. Both of these run between 675 and 1,000-foot visibility. And then the third one will be the one that was presented last time. Again, all of these have to be accompanied with a regulatory speed limit sign, even if it says your speed on it. Mm-hmm. So no matter what the configuration is. This one still remains the least expensive in the what I'm going to refer to as the municipal grade radar sign category. In other words, ones that are specifically built for road traffic. I do realize that last time the question was brought up on the smaller version that was on the brochure with this sign. That smaller version is only available to DOT only, and is actually more expensive than this one is because it goes into ballistic grade.
Okay.
So,
Question I had on, do you know what the, how often you have to
Calibrated.
calibrate them? Because the reason is I drive by 4 every day, and about every 6 to 8 weeks, they're pretty accurate. By the time they end of that 2-month period, like today coming to home, I was going 80 and a 70, and it said I was going 52. And that's pretty common about week 6.
So apparently, from when I spoke to the rep, apparently where the discrepancies occur is when people go out there to get the data off the computer. They don't reset the computer. They just grab the data and leave, and then it goes to all sorts of crazy little factory settings that doesn't reset. So if you don't double check and to make sure that your parameters are put in there, you're going to end up with that when you go to retrieve the data.
And will these be available on our insurance? Because, like I said, the 4 I pass every day, about once every 2 or 3 months, they're being run over and they're laying over in the ditch. And I'd hate to be spending $3,500 and then 2 months we gotta spend another $3,500.
Well, we can file a claim with TML, but typically they don't cover
That's what I
three
was.
times.
I did find out that this one also does the data collection capabilities on traffic flow and speed patterns. I wasn't aware of that initially on the last presentation, but this one also does the data collection. So, and then.
But not ballistic.
Not ballistic, no, it is not ballistic, which,
When it says color changing, so this one here has the flashing police style lights. it
correct, this one
says.
has the flashing police style lights, and it also allows you to set the slow down and the 80, so you can do yellow, white, red.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
And what it'll do is when you initially see it and you're going the speed limit, it'll be white.
Okay.
And then, you know, if it's a mile over, it'll go to yellow. And then let's say we set the parameters 3 miles over, you're a bad boy. Now it's gonna be red. Now it's gonna flash red, slow down, slow down.
But there would be a speed limit sign with this.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, right above it, yes, sir.
I will just say,
Wait, you still got one more?
I'm sorry.
This is-
Well, before we go to the trailer, I will say that I'm not a fan of data collection.
I agree.
So,
It's not the purpose.
yeah. All right, sorry, carry on.
And then the last one is the trailer. This trailer, through really the only company that offers it that's not out of Eastern China, has just recently been released in a smaller form. Prior to this, they were the really aggressive ones that you would see TxDOT owning. This is the new smaller form from municipalities. You know, gives you the 18-inch display. It does not collect traffic data, and it clearly already has the speed limit sign, and it is mobile.
But it says it
Data
collects data.
Data collection capabilities on track. Oh. All right. Well, I'm batting
maybe you have
1,000 tonight, folks, and I apologize. I spent all day putting this together, so my mind is
Maybe
slightly
it
jumbled.
is set up to collect data, but you don't have to.
Well, none of them you don't have to collect data from. It's purely an option.
I got it. What would you do with said data? And
Well, again, it's okay. So let's say you want to change the speed limit
Yeah.
on the road, then you have that data to justify why the speed limit
Okay.
needs to be changed.
Unlike Wise County Commissioners Court, who last meeting voted to change the speed limit on 2 streets in Paradise, County Roads in Paradise, with no traffic
You
study.
can't,
I understand that, but they did that.
okay.
The new road that goes in front of the school, the
Study.
Commissioners Court voted to lower that speed limit sign.
well, I get that. I guess I wasn't thinking on a municipal level,
Okay.
but there are some
Anytime.
roads that
you're
we
gonna
would have
wanna-
access
Yeah,
to.
anytime you're gonna wanna change the speed limit, you're gonna need to do a study.
I'm thinking of like 407, 287. Those are all.
Those are all state
text
roads,
dots.
yes.
And mind you, when this thing collects data, there is zero personal information. Your license plate's not in there. It is
So it's
purely
just
collected.
collecting
on a
20
radar.
cars was going
Yep.
100 miles per
It
hour.
uses purely radar, so it's only collecting the volume of cars that have come in a said time period and the speed
It's
those cars were
not
going.
taking pictures
Nope.
of their license.
Absolutely not.
But I kind of like that, because then you can look and see what the pattern is, and maybe you can send an officer there.
I mean, that's great
To fix
for
that
when we
problem.
get a police
Speeders in
department.
the morning,
Yeah.
yeah, you're right.
Well, I would agree, but if we were gonna do any kind of data collection, I don't like this type of unit because this looks like it captures your data. And people are going to ask questions because of all the questions about items that are collecting your data currently.
There are boxes like this that do collect data. That's the one that Wise County has, because we could look it up and like when I was looking for a missing person, I can check our trailer that was on 287 to see if their vehicle had gone up or down that highway.
Yeah.
This one does. I don't think would be able to do that because it doesn't have the box that is required.
You're talking
for
about the
that.
Falcon box. and
Yeah,
That's
it-
connected to the camera system
Yeah.
that goes nationwide.
This doesn't have anywhere to put a camera of that magnitude. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, you see the little box up in the corner, that's your radar. And that's all that is radar. It's not even LiDAR, it's radar.
Now, the only thing I see good about this is we can put it on County Line Road for a while, then we can stick it on Hilltop for a while, then we could put it at 407 somewhere, all place, you know, to catch the speeders everywhere, or to slow down the speeders everywhere.
So John had pointed out a really
That's the only
promising
good
spot
thing.
in front of Ricky's house where this could go, and we thought we'd get the most.
I mean, this way we could make sure nobody's stealing it, right? Ricky's gonna watch it.
No, I don't want that liability.
So we can't put it on a state road, Craig.
All that I don't know. Because Wise County puts theirs on the highway, I don't know.
But since this was a trailer, could it be insured by?
This
For
one
theft-
might be able to be
For
insured.
theft or?
Well, because to me, this would be a vehicle of sorts.
Yes. Or if somebody runs over this,
Yeah, we
Or I
can,
don't think they're gonna knock this one down, or aim for it like they would a post.
yes.
But they might hook it up to their truck.
so Josh, we'll go to the next slide that shows the numbers.
Yes, sir.
Okay, council, so here is the cost breakdown of the 4 options that we've discussed with you this evening. And so we just need to know if you want to go with any of those options so that I can plug that into my budget for the 26-27 fiscal year.
And mind you, with the exception of the trailer, all of those are two of them. So if it's on a pole, it is, the total at the end in yellow is for 2.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, because you need one in either direction.
Oh, so the trailer, how does that work? It already has 2 on there?
No, it's a single.
Single unit. That's
You just
pretty-
move it, put it one direction, and you move it, put it the next direction to see where you're getting the most effective.
I see.
Yeah, the only benefit to that trailer is being able to move it to different roads. That's
Okay.
really the only benefit.
Well, I was in favor of the trailer, but now I see the negative.
Yeah, that's only for one.
I mean,
Yeah, that's.
I would advocate for the cheapest option, personally.
That looks like a pretty good option because it's a larger display,
They're the #1 selling one in the market.
doesn't collect data.
Yeah, which is important.
Yeah, I agree. I think that makes the most sense, and it's accomplishing our purpose of awareness of your speed.
Without breaking the bank.
And the
Yeah.
color changing, I think, is actually a decent feature.
Is it ballistic? I don't remember.
If that one's not,
that
no.
one's
No.
not.
And
But is it worth the extra $2,000 that it would be for the bullet?
No.
one?
I can't believe it's gonna stop a 30-30.
No.
Or an arrow 50. I just can't believe it's that strong.
Listen, if somebody's trying to shoot a freaking radar sign
While they're driving,
while they're driving,
Well,
that just sound. I mean, I see all the stop signs and stuff that have bullet holes.
It's
in it.
usually the ones that we
And I
at a
get
time
it.
to take the side, it's usually a shotgun.
so someday I got to tell you a story about when we arrested a Denton City council member who was shooting out of his car while he was driving and chasing somebody.
oh my gosh.
You know, fun time.
Well, things
I'm
happen.
not saying it won't happen. I'm just saying. I mean, we could always put a camera up, get a game camera somewhere nearby, and then if they do
Give
shoot
another
our
target.
sign,
Give them another target.
no, we're
Oh,
going
you
to
want clock cameras now. I see.
Yeah, we don't want to collect the speed, but we want to know exactly who they are.
No, only the ones that are shooting at us.
Okay.
So you have 2 of these, and so you have one man on each side of the road,
Correct, sir.
even with each other.
Correct, sir.
And so it's concreted in, it's permanent.
They're breakaway poles.
Breakaway poles, I like that. So we're talking about South Carolina Road.
Correct. So for example, we just recently put up the incredibly large city limit
I
sign.
saw it.
Oh, I love that.
I was
So
like,
that
that's
was,
new.
that was Mr. John's directive. We're trying to get those up on our roads.
I love it.
So the new sign, which is due to go up by Wednesday, is gonna go just past that. So it's basically, you'll see city limits, and then within 100 feet of that sign, the new speed limit sign will go up. So it's like, hey, welcome to New Fairview, 45 miles an hour.
Slow the.
So that would be where that one ideally would go. You come right into the city,
And then Paloma Ranch New Phase is like literally right
And that
there.
is right at the line of demarcation, exactly, yeah. So because we had to really line it out where we were putting it, and that new phase is right there after that sign.
Yeah.
I've seen on some speed limit signs that said, I forget exactly the wording, but enforced, speed.
Oh, speed
radar.
enforced by either radar.
Aircraft.
Or if you're in New Mexico,
Some
by
of them say
helicopter.
aircraft,
That's New Mexico.
and I'm sitting here going,
Yeah, right.
I know, that always freaks me out. I'm like, is this legit?
I think that's the point, just to freak you out.
I mean, can we put some random one up there?
Enforced by drones.
Yeah.
I'm all for that roadway signs, the 14-inch LED, the cheaper one.
Yeah, I like that one.
Hey, we'll
It's
start off-
inexpensive, but it's not junk.
Yeah, we'll start off on South Carolina Road, and we may like it so well, we put it on up there on Chisholm Hills or Hilltop, something like that.
Okay, so go with this.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And we had the overage $8,000, so that
Yeah.
took care of
We're
that.
not done.
We're not done.
There's more.
Right
Wait.
on, yeah.
I thought we saved
We don't
this
have,
money.
hey, just skip the rest that way.
What else are we buying?
A bulldozer.
Oh, next.
It's like, well,
Okay,
you got your
bulldozer.
speed limit sign, you got something else to do.
So,
And this is because of me.
John Deere.
I went to the Parks meeting and they were talking about the multi-purpose court, and we were gonna have to rent a dozer blade, we were gonna have to rent a posto auger. Why are we renting?
Thank you.
Because we don't have space to store this crap.
Well,
Where's Pete?
I have a solution for that too. It's
Yeah, he does have a solution.
It's only $5,000, or $6,000, but we can solve that too. For skid steer attachments only.
So the adjustable dozer blade, which was also on next year's because it is something that we've rented more than once. Basically the features and the uses that we will be using this as, the city will be leveling asphalt on repair jobs. We don't have a grader blade, so this is the second thing that we have to a grader to be able to do what we call poor man's road leveling. Site prep, such as the multi-purpose court, there is a substantial amount of dirt that was brought out there and leveled out that now has to be removed and carried over to the soccer field and then laid out again. One that we use multiple times a year is edging asphalt. So whenever you see asphalt on any road but that doesn't have a curb, you get the grass that starts growing over it. So with this blade, we're able to drop it at an angle and just pitch it just over the edge, so basically it just kicks that grass out. We're just creating a little 1-inch, 2-inch gap to get that grass away
So it
from the
starts
edge of the
growing
pavement.
this way instead of
The grass keeps the water from shedding, and that's what causes your.
Yeah, we don't want it to grow into
You want
the
the- you
asphalt,
want the
and we
water
sure as
to
heck don't
shed.
want to water it away. And then, in the event that we actually had a paved parking lot here, excuse me.
I mean, that one little
we-
section right
Here, we have the ability to use it as a snow and ice plow, limited purposes only, not going around the neighborhood and suddenly
Well,
plowing.
then what's the purpose?
We'll write that down.
Adjust, and the different, I put this on here because a lot of people believe that you can use a bucket on a skid steer as a earth mover, and you can to a degree, but what this does, that doesn't do, is just adjust to multiple different angles and pitches. So it allows us, when we're working on a road, to kick it so that we're staying with the road. Right now, if we were to lay a bucket down on that road, one end of the bucket would be up and the other end would be dragging into the pavement because it just can't angle with the pavement.
Gotcha.
That price, all in, out the door from the dealership, delivered to the door, $15,341.08 as of 2 days ago, including the buy board discount as per usual. And yes, it is a John Deere product.
I have
And
a
next
question.
item?
I have a question for you, Mike, because I just don't know a lot about this industry. What's the life on that if we're using it on asphalt and things like that? Is it going to get worn out? We're going to
The blade will, so they all have a blade. As a matter of fact, this one comes with 2 blades, one on top, one on the bottom.
What it means by blade, there's a part that bolts on,
Okay,
yeah, that you can remove.
the
or
cheaper
replace.
part.
Yes, it's the wear item.
Yes.
Okay.
Unless you're tech dot and you just grind right into the whole system and it's right, but you know.
It takes a long time to wear out.
Okay, good, okay.
Yeah, any of your
Not right.
motor graders, anything
Yeah,
like that.
unless you're, like I said, unless you're Texas Dot on a snow day, I have seen them, this is no joke, 6 motor graders on 35 during Snowmageddon. New blades, when it left us, when it come back 5 days later, the blade was wore through the bolt holes and it cost Texas Dot 50 grand a machine to fix.
Wow.
When they could have just bought a new,
Wow.
They'd have to stop them, they would have to.
They would have to stop having for that.
They just kept grading blade, kept grading 35,
Wow.
14 mile an hour.
I'll be there. Wow.
That's your tax dollars in use.
Yeah.
And then the next item, since they're connected,
The next item is gonna be the auger attachment, something that we've used since day one. Every one of these signs that we talk about gets mounted with an auger. Currently, we use a 3-point mounted auger that we proudly purchased from Tractor Supply 3 years ago.
No, this is a no-brainer, get it.
I mean, at the end of the day, this is a significant difference right now. For those that don't know about augers, we can only use the 1 bit. We go through shear pins like they're candy.
Is this good for flagpoles?
I think you can make a hole.
actually, it is.
Somebody had to go there.
Wow, what?
Thank you, Ricky.
Which is why he is not even scoffing.
That's right, approved.
What's next?
Wait, do we
Let's
have
get
a flagpole in the budget? I don't remember. Yeah, so because they're 9, 12, and 36, this will help for anything from our signs to our tree planting. You know, we're gonna have another tree planting in November. We always have to rent auger bits for that, because, you know, we dig the holes for the kiddos. I mean, the rocks around here in Wise County, I don't know about you guys, I got red clay in Denton County. I don't know what happened to Wise County, but you can't go 12 inches before you start to hit rock.
I can't believe that y'all are using the 3-point auger. I mean, that's crazy.
When we started, well, when I first started, it was by hand, but then I started with the handheld auger, and that thing will break a man in this ground out here.
No. You need this.
This will be 90 days
The
safer,
one thing
quicker.
out of everything we discussed, this is a must-have.
I'm not gonna disagree with you one bit.
However, to benefit from this sooner rather than later, I'm thinking that, when do we think we're gonna need to start leveling for the multi-purpose court with the,
Around a month.
so before the fiscal year ends, right?
Yes.
Okay, so we would probably need to request a drawdown. Well, no, actually we don't, because we can do that later. And it's within my authority. So if the council's okay, we could go ahead and purchase at least the dozer blade right away, so that we can go ahead and start getting ready for the leveling that we're gonna need to do for the multi-purpose court. In fact, we have it teed up for your August 3rd council meeting, where we're gonna bring the recommendation from the Parks Board on the bid that we got for having someone come out there and pour the foundation for that multi-purpose court. We also next are gathering bids for the actual fence installation, and then the rest of it, and then the painting of the surface. So those are the 3 things we're gonna have to bid out. The rest of it, we're gonna be able to do in-house and have some savings. But at the end of the day, what was the estimate that we got on the amount we put in for the grant? 134,000, 143,000, something like that? Higher? That they, for that, what was it for that
We're all in, or just shy of 170, including the fence.
Is that what the grant covered?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
so you're looking at about $170-some-odd thousand project for this one multi-purpose court. And so the quotes that we got in from somebody for a turnkey product, they'll come in and do it all, was much higher than that, and we couldn't afford it. So we contacted Texas Parks and Wildlife, asked them, can we be the general contractor on this, and if so, what do you need? And they told us what all they need. So we're moving in that direction, and he already got us a heck of a savings on the foundation from what one of the other bidders was, where the bidders were going to charge us. So we already know we have saved some money by going down this road. But if we were able to go ahead and get the dozer blade, we could go ahead and not have to rent that or contract that work out for somebody to do it.
Our
So-
skid, I'm sorry.
So unless you know, the city council objects, if you're good with this, we can go ahead and start working on bringing that item on board.
I think you should.
What's your question about the skid steer, sir?
We got that, what, a year ago or a little less?
6 months ago, roughly 6, 7 months ago, we took delivery.
Any idea how many hours you got on it?
Yeah, a little over 200.
So we're getting more attachments, we're using it more. Is that well within, this is 200 like still a new machine?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Depends on, you know, how it's used.
Used, not abused?
Yes,
Okay.
like a concrete or a road company, about 1,500, 2,000, and they're junk. Dirt contractors, 5,000 or 6,000 hours.
Okay.
If you really want to go dozer blade, Deere and Cat makes one that's 3D.
Oh,
Because
Jesus.
it's screen in there with you, and it'll do our CAD program for about 95,000.
Now, I'm just looking for,
You don't even have to do anything, he'll drive it for you, but for 95,000, you can get that.
financial perspective is good, thank you.
Yeah, appreciate it. We
Actually, I'm all about that, you know.
we sold one the other day, on a 335, and it was the blade and all the software and, attachments to make the blade run completely autonomous almost, was more than the machine.
I was gonna say, that's more than we spend on our machine.
It's not completely autonomous yet, but we have one, but not there.
Okay, so, and we're gonna add the auger bits to next fiscal year?
But do you need them for the,
Well, we
use
did,
auger bits all the time, I mean.
but I mean, we did it for sure for the November
tree
project.
planting?
Yeah.
We're not gonna need them for the multi-purpose board.
No.
So when they go down to buy them, do they have to wait for them to come in, or are they ready available?
I think we had a TD96
So I mean, you may not have one then. Can we, how can we do that to ensure we have it for the tree planting? Can we-
Well, remember, the tree planting is not until November.
Uh-huh.
Our fiscal year starts October 1, so Mayor, if we ordered it right after October 1, wouldn't we have that for sure by November,
Oh,
middle of
I
November?
don't think so, auger probably, yeah. The only thing that we would not have
It's a tree planting bit.
we do not have a new tree planting bit. We have one in the rental, but I know we do not stock a tree planting bit.
Well, 36 is enough though.
Yeah. Well, that's a 36 inch, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, it's 36 inch, but it's a cone shape, so that way it fits the tree.
It's not a standard 36 inch.
Guys, it's not square.
So how long would it take to get one here after we order it, put the order in?
You know, that I don't know.
Why can't we order it well ahead of time and then we'll pay for it at the beginning of the fiscal year?
I don't know if RDO would accept that.
As long as you sign a letter of intent.
Okay,
As long as you guarantee it.
okay. That sounds like we can handle it, and then it'll impact the fiscal year, next fiscal year.
So how do we do the blade?
Well, the blade is just a matter of ordering it from them.
I mean, how do we pay for it through this?
So what we'll do is we'll tee up an item where you guys will authorize the drawdown from the fund balance, just like you guys did with the cameras, remember?
Okay, just
Yeah.
verifying how you want to handle it.
Yeah, I think that's the best way to do it.
Are you in agreement? Lisa?
Yes.
Okay. All right, next item?
No, we're not done yet. All right, body cameras. So I've been working with Isaac on this one. We initially did go to Amazon. When I first started as the code enforcement officer, I purchased a body camera off of Amazon for roughly $179. And it did do its job until we went to go download the material off of the SD card, and we were never able to capture the audio, but we could get the video. We had a lot of issues. So I did a little investigating, and this both came from a website called Galls, which supplies, as you well know, now we're in your wheelhouse, which supplies all sorts of gear and equipment towards law enforcement. This one in particular, they only have two. This one in particular is basically the one that's truly geared to law enforcement before you get into $7,000 Motorola's or Axons or one of those. But this one's going to be shock, water resistant up to 3 feet. It watermarks the photos with the time and date stamp to resist somebody tampering and trying to change that. 10-hour long battery life. It does film 30 seconds before and 30 seconds after. So when you're leaving the car versus right when you get to the door. It does ID tag the different photos, allowing you to be able to access that particular incident without having to just thumb through a bunch of photographs.
You can save them.
Oh,
You
absolutely.
just like name it the address or whatever
Yep.
you were at.
Yep. Yep. So you can just go back. Oh, you're looking for this one? Oh, yeah, here it is. Here's 325 South Dixon. Okay. You can review the footage from the phone. So if you get done and you want to go, oh, what happened? They can go back and review and see exactly what happened. The information is stored on SIM cards, which is common for this, but it does allow us to go with a larger SIM card to store more information on it. And it comes in at $449.
How many would you need?
Well,
Two.
we would recommend 2 because remember, we're getting ready to start a part-time code enforcement officer because we're getting ready to add even more workload for code enforcement with the SWIP and Lennar coming on board. So I would recommend if we're going to do this, we get 2 cameras so that when our
I agree.
employee's doing code enforcement that day, then he's got his own camera while Isaac still has his camera.
I don't think we need to shortchange this. I know you have a cheaper model.
That cheaper has no desire.
It
I
is
think
a substantial difference.
we're gonna keep wasting money on stuff that doesn't work. I think we need to go ahead and get this one and move on.
And 2 of them,
Two of them.
we're good?
This cheaper one is.
Alicia?
Yes.
Who's wearing this?
So
Code
we,
enforcement.
Only while they're doing code enforcement.
yes, when they're doing
Or
code.
going to your house.
Evidently, they drive by there.
Or walking by your house driving.
Well, let's be honest, sometimes it is when staff is driving up and down, then we'll call, hey Joshua, somebody's parked on the sidewalk.
We get a lot of that. Which brings us to the next.
Code enforcement could be an issue, pissing people off.
Yeah, they tend to get upset. All right, and then the last item.
I'm wondering why we have Ricky's house.
See, Big Brother's watching. Hey, this is actually going to be a
Drone
benefit. So, irony of ironies, in talking to Lennar, they've approached us and they wanted us to consider allowing them to have solar units for streetlights, which is a practice that cities are engaging in because remember when the city accepts the roads, they also accept the streetlights, which means at that point now you're paying the ongoing bill for that streetlight. I had Joshua go through an exercise and determine how many streetlights do we have in each subdivision that we're paying for, because we're paying 2 different companies, right? 2 different electric.
Co-serve and Wise Electric, yes, sir.
So right now, and we're getting ready to start a 3rd one with Encore. So we're at least paying right now 2 different companies for electricity, and we determine how much are we paying for each one of those lights.
$13.75 to $14.25.
So we're paying that much each month,
A month.
Oh my
a
gosh.
month per street light. Right, exactly. But again, this is a common practice that cities accept the street lights when they accept the roads, and so they're in charge of paying for the electricity. A lot of times, luckily though, they're not on the hook for maintenance until that street light reaches 5 years or so, and then you're on the hook for maintaining it if something happens to it. So this is why cities are looking at solar lights, and so Lennar pitched a company to us. We had another company that we had heard of, and in fact, that's the company that we met with last week, and they brought this demo because they also wanted to show us another feature that they had. Well, staff has been struggling with how to address the ongoing code violations of cars driving and parking on that 10-foot wide multi-purpose track that runs along South County Line Road in, what's the name of the subdivision? Paloma Ranch, sorry, senior moment. We can put bollards, we can put markings on the ground, but that won't really stop the cars, and bollards. you know, they're hard to see sometimes, and they're just ugly, and, you know, they're just there. And so when they brought this
Doesn't
out,
want a big yellow baller in your, next to your driveway, do you?
I don't want anything.
Yeah.
I'm open to hearing about it, so.
but we gotta do something, because we gotta keep these vehicles from driving on this, because they're just damaging the sidewalk. And so we've been thinking about putting up some bollards temporarily to kind of see and test it and see how it works. But again, they're so ugly, and they sit so low that it's sometimes, you know, hard to somebody to see. And so we thought, well, let's see if we can find a solution. And just out of the blue, they brought this. Can you turn it on? This is actually a solar light, pathway light, that is programmable.
You put this in the middle of the sidewalk?
We can put it in the middle of the sidewalk. Yes, as you can see, we can bolt it to the ground. What I'd like for you to do is go touch that thing. That
I saw him
thing
carrying
is
it.
solid
It is heavy.
concrete.
No, it's not. It is solid 3/8 inch plate galvanized steel.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah, go ahead, give it a lift. Try mine. Oh, wait. Ah, here we go. What's that called? Holy crap.
Right, so that
How
thing's
much
not
are
just gonna
these?
go.
Yeah, my back's already hurting. I ain't even gonna try to do that.
We'd have to have a whole bunch of these.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, I don't know that we want to do everywhere, but we can at least start in certain areas where we know we're having problems of vehicles from certain residences driving on
You're gonna put
sidewalk.
these in the concrete,
Yeah.
like just standing in the middle of concrete.
Right there in front.
They're bolted down.
You're gonna bolt it into the concrete.
Yeah,
Yeah.
bolted into the concrete to prevent a car from driving off the driveway,
The driveway be
into
right
the-
here.
onto the path.
So what do you call that path?
That is a multi-purpose trail,
And what is multi?
What's
pedestrian
going on down
and bicycles.
I chose it specifically for.
Not motorized vehicles, not side-by-sides, not motorized
Really?
vehicles of any
It was
kind.
like a
Yeah,
structure
really.
for the weight of a car.
I mean, I get a car.
Right now, Ricky's like, I could drive in my.
See, I haven't.
I have a go-kart that I
struggle
drive
with
on
that
it.
Because I want our communities to be golf cart friendly.
Yeah, and so I drive my go-kart on it. It's really cool. And people have side-by-sides. And especially at Halloween, because the houses are so far apart, it's one of the primary modes of transportation for people to safely go trick-or-treating on South County Line Road is to take a side-by-side. And in my opinion, you should not build sidewalks that wide if you don't want a side-by-side on it.
Well,
I think
That-
side by side's a problem.
Are we talking
Well,
about
if you
that
put a
thing?
pole in the middle, you're gonna
Right by-
go.
I'm not in favor of this
Okay.
either. No, I'm not, because you'd have to have 100 of these to be effective.
well, go to the next slide.
Yeah, that thing's not
Joshua.
even very bright.
Oh.
Well, it's just-
I didn't take Susan for granted. I'm sitting there going, oh, come on.
So as you can see, that's why we have that up there, so you can count the number of driveways that you have connecting. But
1,600 a shot.
as I said, you don't have to put it on all of them. You put it on enough of them that it's going to dissuade a car from getting on from the driveway and driving down the
Sure.
sidewalk.
Very few are doing that. Only Amazon is doing that.
No, sir.
Well, I mean,
No, sir,
to be
we've got
fair, there
video.
are people that park. There are people that park
Yes.
on it.
There's people that park on it, but you don't have them driving down to where if you have one or two of these, it's not.
I would agree with that. People don't drive the whole way other
No.
than delivery vehicles.
I've only seen Amazon do that a few
What
times.
is you can
And we have seen private cars, and we have caught private cars driving down that sidewalk from one driveway down to who knows where, right?
Uber Eats.
Again, this was designed to be a pedestrian,
I agree.
multi-purpose trail. If you guys want to change the purpose of this, we can certainly do that,
No.
and we don't have to worry about this. And
I
you can let the
always
cars,
thought
all
it was-
motorized cars on there.
I always thought it was so the homeowners can move around.
No,
with,
it is
with their
because
vehicles without having to go out. and
it's
put
to
county
allow
roads.
cyclists and pedestrians to walk
Because it's
parallel
hard
to
to
South
back into
Carolina
vehicles.
roads without actually having to walk on the road or walk in the bar ditch. And the plan calls for that trail to continue northward when Constellation Lakes starts to develop all the way up to 407.
Wow.
Because 407, we got them to put into the plan that on the south side of 407, they're gonna have a multi-purpose lane, not a trail, a lane that is gonna be cordoned off for, again, this very purpose, pedestrians to be able to walk along 407 from here to Justin.
Well, I guess my problem is why'd they make it so wide if it's really just a sidewalk?
Because you want to be able to have two cyclists going side by side. You want to be able to have a mom pushing their baby stroller with their toddler on their tricycle next to you, so you've got a trail that you're walking. Or you can,
Yeah, if you have a sidewalk on both sides, sides of the road, that'd be more narrow, it's only going one direction. But if you have a road and you only have one sidewalk on one side, it's generally wider so you can pass each other easily.
I guess that makes sense.
Yeah,
I just never.
There's no houses on the other side, but,
No, but
Today.
the other ones,
Yeah, but I agree, I know Justin made their communities now are golf cart friendly, and where they have these type trails, the 10-foot wide trails in the new neighborhoods, if they can connect, they can take golf carts to neighborhoods.
oh yeah, that was the goal, yeah.
That's a goal, and I'd like to see for us to be able to do
We're
that.
not gonna be able to do that if we stick
well,
those.
no,
in.
you can put these in a way that it won't let a car go by, but you can get a side by side through.
Yeah.
Yeah, how wide is a side by side? I mean, we have one, but what, they about 6 feet?
You just wouldn't put it in the center.
Yeah, we'd have to offset
Yeah,
it
you
to
offset
basically.
them, and so you can still get a side by side through, but you won't be able to get a vehicle through.
I mean, I like the idea of always lighting up the trails because,
Well, and the thing about this thing, which you can't see this right now because, so let's just say you're facing the road and we got it offset to allow your go-kart to go through. Date it.
just
Okay.
yours.
So this is, yeah, just yours. So we have two options, obviously day to night. We also can set a timer on this thing. We wanted to go off at midnight, but then at midnight, this thing's got twin motion sensors. So you're some crazy guy that likes to go out at 1 o'clock in the morning and you're coming up on it, it's still gonna kick on, light up.
no, I'm against this, putting that up there regardless. There's too many entry points where you can get on that sidewalk and just have a couple of these each end, it's not gonna do anything different.
Okay, so are you against us putting the inexpensive metal bollards in? Because they're a lot cheaper, we can buy a lot more.
I'm against all of it, yeah.
So you don't want us to
I think
stop
they-
vehicles from driving on that trail?
Have a sign informing people, no cars allowed on sidewalk. Something to that effect. I think a lot of them just don't realize it's in their front yard and it's a good place to park out of the way while I do this or do that.
I'll be honest, if I lived there, I would have thought it was.
Because you don't have a street to park on,
Right.
and it's so wide.
Yeah.
I think,
Yeah,
I
like
think it just
if
needs
you're
to be
having a
education.
party, where do your friends park,
Right.
right? So, I mean,
Right.
I would.
There is a home that keeps continually parking on it, that's, to me, that's like code enforcement, like, I see it all the time, so it's like,
Yeah.
if you're a onesie twosie like me, like, we got a party, like, sorry, like, I guess we could park them, like, at the place across the street, but,
Right. And then they gotta run across the street where people are going 80
run
miles
over,
an hour.
yeah. But, I mean, especially at the price, but I definitely don't want yellow ballards, I mean, that just looks
I
tacky.
do too, I don't either, so I'm saying, we're struggling with a solution, but we gotta do something, or we gotta pass an ordinance that says, let vehicles drive on there then, so you'll have cars and pedestrians on the same trail.
I think the residents on that road or in that development need to talk in their groups and say, hey, this is what's going on, the city is talking about doing this and doing that. We need to stop
And there's an
abusing
HOA,
the
right?
sidewalk.
Yeah, but I don't want to pass something that says that vehicles can drive on it, because I don't want that liability.
No.
Because it is a place for
Oh, trust me,
pedestrians
we have
to
a
walk.
liability now, because of the fact that we know that it's happening and we haven't done anything to prevent it.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Well, you got a point.
so I'm just letting you know.
Can we push flags down?
We wanna talk
Well,
about
that's it.
liability.
Next you know, you veer into South Carolina Road and go head
It's
on.
new tires, thank you.
Yeah, so, all right. Well, anyway, that's all we had. Was there another one?
No, sir.
Okay, so that's all we have as far as offset items that we wanted to discuss with you this evening.
I do like how the light is facing down and not up.
I like it too,
It's all
but
dark sky compliant.
Yeah.
And then the one on the bottom is fully programmable, so like, I knew where we were gonna place this bollard, so I chose the multicolored, but if it's 4th of July,
So if it's 4th of July, it'll do red, white, and blue. If it's Halloween, you can change colors on the bottom one.
And then the other thing about it, just kind of my closing remark, is like, I certainly don't want to be the person to pick who's in front of whose house you're putting this.
No, that falls on my shoulders.
Yeah, and if you put it.
Yeah, you know who's gonna be number one.
And then if you
Doing
don't put
it.
it in front of my house, I'm like, oh, because it's on city council. Because I did put it in front of my house.
You're gonna lose either way.
Yeah.
Wow. Very interesting.
Okay, Mayor, that's all we have on our budget workshop discussion.
Well, I was expecting we go till 10, so I think we just stay with
So we ran out of money.
We're gonna let you make that argument to
You
Susan,
ran out of
and the rest of us will be in the other room.
Alright, so, do I have a motion for adjournment?
A motion to adjourn.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Alright, thank y'all.
The time is?
8:47.
8:46.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, council. We appreciate your time this evening. Do we have any leftover food?
Oh, you go for
Take a sample?
Okay,
There you
I got
go.
it. No worries.
Josh,
You got lunch
I
for
emailed
tomorrow.
you a link for the free Narcan if it's.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, 'cause I actually